بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين، والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. سبحانك لا علم لنا إلا ما علمتنا إنك أنت العليم الحكيم. اللهم علمنا ما ينفعنا وانفعنا بما علمتنا وزدنا علما وعملا يا أكرم الأكرمين. قبل أن نبدأ بأخذ الأسئلة فقط على عجالة بخصوص الصلاة على الكراسي والتي سأل عنها بعض الإخوة. فالصلاة تجوز قاعدا للعاجز عن القيام. النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم أمر بالصلاة قائما، قال: فإن لم تستطع فقاعدا، فإن لم تستطع فعلى جنبك، يعني مضطجعا. والأصل في أركان الصلاة بالنسبة للرخص أن الرخصة تقدر بقدرها. الآن نرى بعض الإخوة المصلين يأتون ماشين، ثم بعد ذلك وربما وقف يتكلم مع زميله أو شيء، وعندما تحين الصلاة يجلس على الكرسي ثم يكبر. والقيام في هذه الهيئة، القيام ركن من أركان الصلاة، فإذا كان يستطيع القيام فيدخل في الصلاة قائما. يعني هو قد ما يستطيع يقف لفترة طويلة، يتعب، لكنه يستطيع أن يقف لثواني معدودة، فيقف قدر ما يستطيع ويكبر وهو قائم. ثم إن استطاع أن يقرأ الفاتحة وهو قائم فعل، وإذا ما استطاع ما في حرج يجلس. وعندما يحين الركوع نفس الشيء، إن استطاع أن يركع سليما، يعني ما عنده مشكلة في الركوع، فيقف ثم يركع للركن، ثم يرفع من الركوع أيضا على هذه الهيئة الصحيحة، ثم يجلس على الكرسي إذا ما يستطيع السجود، وهكذا. فالفعل إذن الرخصة تقدر بقدرها، وليس أنه يبدأ الصلاة من بداية الصلاة إلى آخرها وهو جالس. يأتي من البيت إلى المسجد ماشيا بحمد الله تبارك وتعالى، ثم عندما تبدأ الصلاة يجلس على الكرسي ويستمر في الصلاة. هذا ما ينبغي، لأنه قلنا هذه أركان فتسقط فقط عند العجز. فإن كان يعجز عن القيام ما في حرج، إذا ما يعجز عن القيام ابتداء ما عليه حرج. أما إن استطاع يقف يقف، استطاع أن يركع سليما يركع سليما، استطاع أن يسجد لكنه يعجز عن الجلوس بين السجدتين يسجد على الأرض سليما ثم يجلس على الكرسي، وهكذا. فإذا تحدد فقط بهذا، بإيش؟ بما يعجز عنه أو يشق عليه، وهو أدرى الناس بنفسه. ما أحد يدري كيف آلام الناس وإنما هو للتنبيه. كل إنسان يعلم، فقد يظهر الإنسان ما في أي مشكلة مثلا أو كذا، وقد يتأذى من الوقوف أو عدم الحركة أو القيام أو نحو ذلك، فهو يدرى بنفسه، ما يشق على نفسه ولا يكلف على نفسه. هذه رخصة من الله تبارك وتعالى، ولا حرج في الأخذ بها. أي إنسان يحتاج يأخذ به، لكن على قدرها، على قدرها، لأن الصلاة مطلوب فيها أن الإنسان يخشع، فعليه أن إيش؟ يكون خاليا عن الملهيات والمشغلات، ومن ذلك الألم. إذا كان يشق عليه ويتألم شديدا سواء في القيام أو في الركوع أو غيره، طبعا يجلس حتى يخشع في الصلاة. لكن إن استطاع كما ذكرنا بلا مشقة شديدة، بلا تكلف شديد، بلا ألم، فيفعل، يأتي بالأركان التي يستطيعها. وما عجز عنه أو شق عليه ما في حرج إن شاء الله، لأن الله تبارك وتعالى لا يكلف نفسا إلا وسعها، ولم يجعل الله تبارك وتعالى لنا في الدين من حرج، والله تعالى أعلم. Before we start, I'd like to just give a quick point about the prayer on chairs. Now, anyone who is unable to stand, it is permissible for him to pray on chairs, sitting, or to pray sitting on the ground. The Messenger Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, when he advised one of the Sahaba, he had a medical situation, and he asked the Messenger Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam about the prayer, and he says, pray standing, and if you couldn't, then pray sitting, and if you couldn't, then pray laying down on your side. Means you try your best to do the positions of salah as you are able to. Now, standing in salah is a pillar in salah. At the beginning of the salah, standing, this is a pillar in the salah. And we see some of the brothers who come walking from home, mashallah, no problem in standing or walking, and then when the salah starts, they sit on the chair and then they start the salah. No, if they can't stand up, this is not allowed. They should start the salah standing. Then if they are able to recite Al-Fatiha standing, they should also do that. If they are unable to, they can sit, no problem. And then for ruku', this is the same. If they are able to stand up before ruku', then do the ruku'. Then raise from the ruku', they should do that. And then if they are tired, they sit down. The same for the sujood. If they are able to do the sujood perfectly, but it's difficult for them to sit between the two sujood, so they do the sujood correctly, then they sit on the chair. And so on. So each part of the salah, they should do what they can. We are talking about the obligatory salah. هذه التفاصيل كلها بخصوص الصلاة الواجبة صلاة الفرض أما السنة فلا حرج. This is all regarding the obligatory salah. As for the optional salah, the sunnah salah or the nafil, according to one, there are no harm. They can pray sitting even without a need, but the reward is less, but it is permissible with or without a need. But for the obligatory salah, we are discussing the obligatory salah, it is required to do what you can. Whatever you cannot, there is absolutely no harm. If it is impossible for him to do, or dangerous for his health to do, or it is painful for him to do, not the normal pain or the less pain, but it's painful that it distracts him from the salah, then he can take the relaxation. No. Because in salah, the idea of salah is to concentrate, to have khushu' and concentration in the salah. Of course, if there is something that is bothering him or something is painful, then he will not be able to concentrate. So that is why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, out of His mercy, made relaxation. But as we mentioned, the relaxation is limited to the actual need. Hopefully it's clear, yes. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows best. Naam. No, thanks. Because you are coming back from travel, so you have to this time. Yes, right. No problem.
لو أصاب الملابس نقطة نجاسة شيء من الحدث الأصغر مما يجب الوضوء. الآن توضأ المصلي توضأ ونسي إنه يحط عليها شوية ماء أو شيء، هل ذهب للصلاة صلاته صحيحة ولا لا؟ هذا السؤال. والسؤال الثاني، حكم غسل الشعر للنساء لو كان مؤقت لمدة ساعة أو ساعتين، هل حرام؟
The brother is asking, the first one is if there is an impurity that touched the cloth and it is very small, a drop or something, and he forgot to wash it, is the salah valid in such a case or not? Now, if he knows exactly where the place is, he should clean it. If it is substantial, if it is very minuscule that you cannot see, then this is not required. This is part of what is called al-afu, and some scholars consider up to the size of what is called the dirham al-ba'li, small, about the size of 1 centimeter or so, circle. They say this is allowed. There is no problem. This is part of what is called al-afu, because it's very difficult to be safe from this. So if it is little, up to this size, there is no harm. But it's better to clean it all the time. That is the first part. Now, if he does not know where it is or only doubt, if it is only a doubt, he is not required to clean it. But if he is sure about it and he knows, it is better to clean it, because some scholars say it is a must if you know where it is. Because having a clean cloth from impurity is a condition for the validity of the salah. So that is why he must clean it. But the other opinion is also strong enough, which is the minuscule or the small ones is part of what is called al-afu, what is forgiven. This is forgiven because it is very difficult to be safe from it. An example, if someone, for example, went to the bathroom and minuscule things splashed on him or on the cloth, and nothing is apparent. He feels that something might have splashed or could have splashed, but it's very minuscule and it's very difficult to see or observe and thus to clean, so it's not required to clean. So that is the two differences between them. So hopefully it's clear, inshallah. That is about the first part. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows best. The second question from the brother is it permissible for women to have a hair extension, not permanently, but temporarily for a short period of time? Is this permissible or not? The Messenger of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam forbade the hair extensions. And he says that Allah Almighty, He cursed the one who does the hair extension and the one to whom the hair extension is done. This is reported in the hadith of the Messenger of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And that is why this is not allowed, because things that the Messenger of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam says that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala curse, or the Messenger of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam himself curse, it means this is something not little, cannot be forgiven or ignored. And thus you have to take it into account that the practice of some women who do hair extensions, even if it was temporary, this is not allowed in Islam. Whether the hair is natural or artificial, synthetic, or whether it is a human hair or an animal hair, the rule is the same. What is forbidden is the attaching an extension of hair to the actual hair or to the scalp. So this is not allowed, per the direct saying of the Messenger Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Very few scholars state that this is required only human hair. Synthetic hair does not take this rule. Or some say that this is only for animal hair. However, this is not clear in any of the hadith, anywhere. The Messenger Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam mentioned the extensions only. He didn't mention anything any more specifically. So this seems to be the correct view. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows best. Probably part of the wisdom is because it will weaken the natural hair. This is a lot of weight that is attached to the hair. It will weaken the original hair and probably leads to balding or hair loss. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows best. Something else is because it is a sign of paying attention beyond the norm to the appearances. Islam cares for the appearances, especially for women to beautify themselves and present themselves to their husbands, etc. However, this should be without exaggeration, without indulging in it so much that it becomes an obsession. That is why the Messenger of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam guided us to some of the rules that limits that. Why? Because you need to deal with a woman as a human being, as a person, not only as a look. So when it becomes an obsession, it becomes only about the look. Nothing about the personality, the morals, the etiquettes, the dealing, etc. The thinking, the behavior of a person. It becomes over-attached to the appearances. And from realities and from experiences, as you could see, nobody is happy with his or her appearances at all. When they are obsessed with the appearance, nobody is happy. As you could see, many people nowadays, they are playing with their appearances and playing with their physical creation, and they keep on changing it. They are never happy. Yes, because if someone is obsessed, he will reach this state. From one plastic surgery to another, from one extension to another, from one wig to another, and it continues. It becomes a form of an obsession. And now with Botox and fillers and I don't know what, and tattoos and no tattoos and permanent makeup, and yes, it will never end. So that is a big problem. And of course, it's a very important business for many people, so they want that to continue. But the main point that we are mentioning is that from the Islamic point of view, that is not allowed. It is permissible to beautify herself and present herself within the guidelines of what is limited in Islam. The hair extension is not allowed in Islam. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows best now. The brother, نعم. تفضل. السلام عليكم.
Regarding the prayers, do we have some recommendations or the points for the brothers, those who ignore prayers, those who do not?
Completely? I mean, the obligatory salah. The obligatory salah.
Yeah, the obligatory.
I think we have spoken about this before a month or so, about those who are not praying. Someone was asking about his brother who was not praying, how to deal with him. Prayer is the most important practical pillar in Islam, the most important. And it is the only one that is required to be repeated all the time, every day, for the rest of the life of a person. And this is done 5 times, as you know, in Islam. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala emphasized the salah so much. And the Messenger Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam clarified this a lot, so that the Messenger Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam pointed that salah is the connection between a person and his Lord, and salah is the differences between a Muslim and a non-Muslim, a believer and a disbeliever. The Messenger Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said the covenant between us and them is the salah. So anyone who leaves the salah, then he is a disbeliever. There are lots of hadith, very strong hadith, emphasizing this point. So someone who neglects the salah is one of three people. Either he is denying the pillar of the salah, or he is denying the obligation of salah, or he is denying one of the five salah, or any parts of the established things, or one of the pillars of the salah. He is denying any part of what is authenticated about the salah. Then this is not a Muslim. Because salah is mentioned directly in the Holy Quran, ordered directly in the Holy Quran, and by the hadith of the Messenger Muhammad ﷺ, and by the consensus of Muslims throughout the ages as being a pillar in the salah, in Islam. This is a pillar in Islam. He denies the pillar of Islam, he's not a Muslim. So this is the worst case scenario. Second one is someone who does not deny the salah as an obligation. He says, yes, it's a pillar of salah, it's an obligatory, but he does not pray. He does not pray out of negligence, out of laziness. So he says, yes, salah is very important, inshallah I'll start praying later on, etc., but he's very lazy. So he does not pray. This is still a Muslim, according to a majority of scholars. Only the Hanbali scholars label him as disbeliever. But most Muslim scholars consider him a fasiq, a Muslim but a bad Muslim. He's still a Muslim. He didn't go out of the folds of Islam. So he's still a Muslim, but he's on a very dangerous line, at the very edge of Islam. And the third one is someone who does not pray out of ignorance. Either he's a new Muslim, so he does not know much about Islam, or he lived among non-Muslims throughout his life, so he does not know much about Islam, or his family did not teach him and he didn't study at school, so he does not know much about Islam. So he knows there is something like a salah or something, but he does not know more. This person must be taught. So it's the obligation of those around him to teach him about the importance of the salah. And then the same rules apply as before. So in the beginning, you have to know which person you are dealing with. If he's someone who is denying the obligation of salah, then you speak about the obligation of salah itself as a pillar in Islam, starting with, does he believe in Allah Almighty or not? If he does, then does he believe in the Messenger Muhammad ﷺ or not? If he does, then does he believe in the Holy Quran or not? If he does, then this is mentioned clearly in the Holy Quran, and goes on, and then in the Hadith, and it continues till you establish this knowledge with him. If he does not, for example, if he does not believe in Allah Almighty, there is no need to speak about the salah. Or he does not believe in the Messenger Muhammad, he does not believe in the Quran. There is no need to speak about the rest. Clear? So you have to know exactly where he stands, and that is when you start. Your requirement, your job, your duty is to educate them, remind them, guide them. And the same with the second one and the third one. Know what he is lacking and inform him about its importance. And continue to remind them. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told the Messenger Muhammad regarding the disbelievers and the others, says, so remind them, you are but a reminder. You have no control over them. So our job is to remind. So if you are a friend of him, if you know him, you know his family, etc., keep on reminding, and then give him some booklets, some CDs, some lectures, some pamphlets, write him some of the hadith, some of the ayahs about the salah, and send it to him. Tell him about the merits of the salah, the importance of salah, for himself, for his life, for the hereafter. Salah is the connection between you and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Salah brings you closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and gets you the love of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Salah expiates your sins and wrongdoings from one salah to the other. Salah, as the Messenger Muhammad says, raise the grades of a person in heaven. Salah, as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned in the Quran, forbade the person or stops the person from injustice, from immorality, wrongdoings, and indecency, and so on. So you mention to him all these points of the salah so that he will get attached to it. Then finally, if staying with him, by staying with him, you think that you can affect him, he is at least trying to understand or trying to learn or still thinking about it, then continue with him. Don't give up. If staying with him is useless, because, for example, either you are afraid for yourself, he might affect you, if you don't have, especially if you don't have enough knowledge, for example, or he is encouraging in his disobedience to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you don't see any sign, then if there is fear for you, then stop the relationship, stop the argument. Refer him to someone who knows or a scholar. If there is no fear with you, you can continue with him. But you don't become very friend with him. You become formal with him. Normal thing. So the behavior becomes into formal one as official dealings, not as friend dealings. So for example, you cannot eat with him, drink with him, go out with him, etc. if he is continuing and there is no response. If there is a response, then no problem, you can continue with that. So this is the general guidance. Yes, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows best. Sallallahu alaihi Muhammad wa alihi wa sallam. Lots of questions. We will take them, inshallah. But those who are in a hurry, they can leave. We will take more questions from the brothers, inshallah. Starting from the right. Yes. Yes. Mm. Yes, yes. Yes, that one, this is a saying of some of the early scholars, that there are two paradises. One of them is in this world, the other one is in the hereafter. The one who does not taste or find paradise in this world, he is not going to find it in the hereafter. And what he is speaking about the spirituality, the spirit, the soul. If you don't find Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in your heart, tranquility when you remember Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when you mention Him, when you say tasbih, when you make dua, and so on, the peace of mind, the relaxation, the lack of anger, the self-control, the willpower, the patience, these elements. If you don't find it, then what is the link? So it becomes only facial. Peace of mind is one of the biggest Jannah probably in this world. One of the biggest things ever. I'll give you a source for that. This is not my saying. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when he speaks about the martyrs and the believers in Surah Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, سيهديهم ويصلح بالهم ويدخلهم الجنة عرفها لهم. So Allah Almighty will guide them and will give them peace of mind and will admit them to paradise. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned peace of mind even before paradise. Allah Almighty will give them peace of mind and will admit them to paradise. Peace of mind, actually the whole rules in Islam and the pillars of faith and the pillars of Islam, all of that are aiming to make you a better person. One of that is to have that full trust with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, full peace of mind. Don't worry. So for example, the Messenger Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, when he says, for example, he says, I wonder about the situation of a believer. Everything that happens to him is good for him. How come? So he explained that. That's it, because he has full trust in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If something good happens to him, he is thankful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and it's good for him. And if something bad happens to him, he is patient and it is good for him as well. So as you see, he is mentioning the link. So you could see a believer who is in deep problems, but this is very good for him. And he has full trust with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And we have examples of people beyond imagination. Some of the disabled people, some of the people with special needs, beyond imagination. They have very strong willpower and strong faith and trust with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. How come? You could see a person who says, how could he ever enjoy life? And mashallah, he is very happy with himself and he's fine. The moment you realize or you strongly, truly believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and the hereafter, that is when you start understanding this. Else, it's very difficult. If someone will tell you, for example, you come here, why did you pray in the masjid? Why didn't you pray at home? You come for special merits. You believe in it strongly, and that is what brought you to. If someone will tell you, for example, stay under the sun, this hot sun outside, for 1 minute, 1 minute only, right? And I'll give you 10 million dirhams. He's very wealthy and he has it, and it's already in cash, not even in check. Will you stand or not? No problem. Will you be happy or sad? Happy, yeah? You don't mind, even if it is very hot. Why? See, the concept is you are sure about the result. The moment you are sure what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going to give you for anything in this world, that is when you don't mind it. Else, if you mind it, it means There is a problem. This is not strong faith. We have a problem in the belief itself. When you believe that the problem that is happening to you, for example, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will reward you for it. When you strongly believe in that, how do you feel? You should feel. That is when there are two things. There are the belief in qadar and qada and qadar from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and there is the being pleased with the qada from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Being pleased. Why? Because whatever happens to you is good for you. That is a belief. And the problems and the calamities that might happen, and they do happen in this world. This is like when you are taking a medicine, you are taking an antibiotic, you are taking an injection, you are taking a vaccination. Painful, it makes you sick for a day or two. It could have some sad effect, for example, etc. But it is for your own good. You need to take it. So what happens with these, to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, is the greater examples. When you have that faith, when you have that belief, that is when you will find that what is called this Jannah in this world. You'll find it. As when you are under the sun and you are happy. And you find that Jannah. So you don't have any problem. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows best. Now, the brother.
Regarding the Salah, Surah Allah says,
Yes. No, عن. Yes. الذين هم عن صلاتهم. Yes.
Why you said, I think the khutbah that it is why we Jahannam?
Yes, you are right. Very good, very good. Why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Holy Quran, فَوَيْلُ الْمُصَلِّينَ الَّذِينَ هُمْ عَنْ صَلَاتِهِمْ سَاهُونَ. So the brother is saying, how come Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is warning those who pray, but they are what? Neglecting the prayers. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala didn't say الَّذِينَ هُمْ فِي صَلَاتِهِمْ سَاهُونَ. Those who are neglecting in their prayers. He said they are neglecting away from their prayers. They are being occupied with something else away from the prayers. Means they don't pay attention to the prayers. If he didn't say don't pay attention in the prayers, it will be problematic. Everyone is like on time praying and your mind goes here and there. He didn't say those who don't concentrate, those who are driven away in the prayer. Is it clear or not? In Arabic, he didn't say الَّذِينَ هُمْ فِي صَلَاتِهِمْ سَاهُونَ. Fi means in their prayer. He said الَّذِينَ هُمْ عَنْ صَلَاتِهِمْ سَاهُونَ. Those who are away from their prayers. So they don't pay attention to the prayers. So they pray, sometimes they don't pray, or they rarely pray. Clear? So they are not paying attention to the prayers, not in the prayers. So as we mentioned, this is one of the proofs that are mentioned from the scholars who say that those who neglect the salah are disbelievers. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala warned them with the worst valley in hell. God forbid. Which proves that. Because they are not praying. They are not concentrating about the prayers, paying attention to the prayers at all. This is one of the proofs that they quote. We have explained the details before, but hopefully it's clear. So it's not speaking about those who are not considering inside the salah. Yes, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows best. Now,
What are the categories of these? I mean, like for example, so we can.
we have mentioned before, those either they don't believe in the salah at all, or they don't believe in some of the salah or at all, or God forbid, even those who do not pray at all, even without neglecting. As we said, those will be among the people who committed the major sins in Islam. And it's up to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to forgive them or punish them. But the punishment that will happen, it is in hellfire, God forbid. So even if they were still among the Muslims, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows best. However, there is just one little point to add. In the Quran, some of these ayahs mention something else, usually. Here in this surah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions something else besides, after the salah, immediately. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, to explain this, the quote why some say those are not scholars, even if they pray sometimes. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, الَّذِينَ هُمْ يُرَاءً, those who show off. So their prayer is just to show off. That is the first one, first categories. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned the second category linked with dealing with people. Allah said, وَيَمْنَعُونَ الْمَعُونَ, and those who do not give help to other or support. Ma'un is something that benefits people and does not make a loss to you. It is beneficial to others and there is no loss on you. So this is the least kind of things that you could do. And one should not prevent other from that benefit. Imagine, for example, your neighbor come and ask you for a knife to cut the salads. So he'll take the knife for 10 minutes, half an hour, and return it back. What did you lose? This is called ma'un. You see? Something that is very little, no loss on you. Or needs a little salt, or a little sugar. Any problem with that? You see? I need your car for a little ride, okay? I need a little milk from your cow. After you milk it, there is something remaining in the, and he needs it. So there is no loss on you, or there is very trivial loss on you. This is called ma'un. So this is the least. Or for example, you have knowledge. Someone tells you, come teach me a little. You are not losing anything. This is called, someone who prevents that from others, this is the worst person ever. He is not even doing that. So here Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, for those people, 3 categories. Not paying attention to the salah, showing off and preventing their goodness to others. What good in them as believers then? Get the idea? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows this. Now, yes, brother. So.
Somebody is going urination by standing position because he don't have any other options, and other people they go, he cannot sit and he
Yeah.
can go urination. So is it permissible at that time, sir? And even if some flashes are when he is doing the washing, some flashes drop on his flash.
Good. The first part, urinating standing is allowed. It's permissible, provided that you are sure that nothing will splash back on you or your clothes, your leg, etc. You take care so that the impurity does not come to you. This is permissible, no problem with that. The splash that comes while washing, this is negligible. Don't worry about it. Clear? The splash that comes while washing. Because most likely this is from water splashing, not from the impurity. If someone will concentrate on this beyond the norm, that will be a form of waswasa. So the one that splashes while washing, that is from the clean water, inshallah, there is no harm. Yes, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows best. No.
As per a hadith, traveling to mosque should be one of the two holy mosques.
Yes, it's right.
Can we visit mosque like Grand Mosque in Abu Dhabi? Can we travel here?
Yes, the hadith of the Messenger of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam did not speak about traveling to 2 mosques, to 3 mosques. He mentioned Masjid al-Haram, Masjid the Messenger of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and Masjid al-Aqsa. Now, that is the first part. The second part, the Messenger of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is speaking about traveling for prayers, for salah. You want to pray, so you are riding your car and going to another masjid to pray and ignoring the masjid in your area and your locality. This is not allowed. The Messenger of Muhammad said this is not allowed, except for these 3 mosques, because there are greater rewards in them. Means the rest of the mosque, the same reward, inshallah. Clear? So traveling for something else, this is not part of it. So if you are going to the mosque in Abu Dhabi or something as a visit to see the building or to see the area or something like that, there is no harm, inshallah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows best. Now, the final question from the 2 brothers, inshallah. Now, about?
Can he take a physical form so that we can see?
Who?
Shaitan.
Shaitan, yes.
One of the surah Allah says that Shaitan and his followers can stay in a place from where they can see you. You cannot see them.
True.
So can they take a shape that's visible to human being? What Ibrahim saw in that?
What?
Ibrahim saw in that case. He stole the Shaitan.
Ah, yes, yes. The brother is asking about shaitan or the jinn. Can they take the shape of other creatures that are we can see? Because in their original form we cannot see them. As Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned in the Holy Quran, they see us, they see you from where you cannot see them. And he mentions where as a place. So probably it's a different dimension or something. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows what the detail of that. Now they do take shapes. As the Messenger of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam mentioned, and many other narrations, they do take shapes of different creatures. However, when they take the shape of other creatures, the same physical problems that apply to that creatures apply to them as well. So they will be affected like the original creature, not like the shaitan previously. So it applies to them. For example, if he changed into the form of a dog or a cat or a snake or a reptile, and it get killed, it will be killed. Or if someone throw something at it, or it was hit by a car or something. So the rules apply. Now that is the first part. The second part is, how do you say for sure that this was a shaitan or not? You cannot. Because physically it will take the same things. And usually shaitan does not take these shapes out of hobby or something as some people might understand. Because taking that shape, it's difficult for it. It's like being in a prison or something. So he wants to get away from that as soon as possible. So most likely they do it for a reason, whatever that reason might be. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows this. This is the detail. As for Ibrahim alayhi salam, either he saw him, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allowed him to see him in the original form. This is most likely. Or he came into a different form. Most likely this is the first one, because this happened to the Messenger of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam also. One day the Messenger of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam was in prayer. He says, the shaitan came trying to mess up my salah. So I caught him. And then I thought of tying him to one of the pillars in the masjid so that the children will see it. But then I remembered the dua of Sulaiman alayhi salam. That Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, I prayed to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give him a dominion that nobody will ever have. Part of that dominion was the service of the jinn. So I thought of that and I let him go. So the Messenger of Muhammad saw him and could catch him. So it seems that Ibrahim alayhi salam, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave him the ability to see it. This is the most likely explanation. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows best. Now, the brother, and we'll conclude, and then we'll take inshallah later, because this is almost three sessions together. Very lengthy. So sorry, because some of the days, these days I have daily lectures every day, almost every day except for Friday, which we have the English one, and sometimes also for Saturday. So most of the days I'll get busy, so we'll have lengthy ones inshallah to cover up. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is best. Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.